In this unit, we're going to draw the connection between the ancient Greek polies, Sparta, Athens, Thebes, Corinth, the more famous ones, and the Macedonian leader, in this case, Philip II, the military leader who's going to come in, unite the Greeks through war, and then set the stage for his son Alexander the Great's great campaign to conquer much of the known world. So the role here is for Philip to come in and unify the Greeks, and this is a theme we've seen before. The Greeks had been very divided amongst themselves, very jealous of each other and their power. The Athenians had gone to sea. They had built a seaborne trade empire. They have then, of course, a large number of allies. The Spartans have a landborne empire. They have a lot of allies. They spent a long time fighting each other. They only unified when the Persians showed up as a menace. And then even after that, they had fallen apart, of course, and in our previous unit we talked about the Peloponnesian War and the disastrous end of the Golden Age of Athens. Philip II is going to be the conquering hero, but on one sense he's going to be the conquering hero, on another sense he's going to be a barbarian, the outsider. Remember, the Greeks had very jealously consolidated and controlled areas around the Mediterranean, set up their trade and military networks. In that process, they're spreading Greek culture everywhere, and that process has already started through the different colonies that have been planted, especially many colonies of the Greek city-states in Sicily and in the southern part of Italy, as well as other places along the Mediterranean Sea coastline. We'll be building on that in our next unit when we talk about Alexander the Great. For now, the connection we're looking for is how are the Greeks now going to be united again? And it's going to take an outside force. Much like the Persian invasion had been the outside force, now Philip of Macedonia and his son Alexander will be the outside forces that will unite the Greeks. At first, though, we have to understand a little bit about Philip II of Macedonia. He had been a barbarian prince in Macedonia, but in one point of his life, he had been taken and sent as a hostage to the Greek city-state of Thebes. And there he had imbibed, taken in a lot of Greek culture, had a deeper understanding of what Greek culture was, and in many ways gained a great appreciation for their military technology, political ideas, and everything else that involved itself with Greek culture. He's going to take that back to his kingdom in Macedonia, which from the viewpoint of the Greeks is a barbaric kingdom. Remember, the Greeks were so exclusive about their thinking that they saw themselves as sort of the center of the universe, and everyone else was dismissed as a barbarian whose language was just a bunch of noise. All right? It was a sign of how sort of superior they felt about themselves, their culture, and their military successes. But they spend so much time fighting each other that an outside force, in this case Philip and the Macedonians, will be a vehicle, a way by which they are going to be united. So the interesting thing here is that from the viewpoint of the Greeks, the barbarians are all those non-Greek peoples who are sort of unworthy of consideration. But they're going to be the ones who are going to come in and actually unify the Greeks. So here's the sort of irony of the whole thing. The Greeks are going to unify not on the basis of mutual self-cooperation, but essentially by military defeat. Philip of Macedon organizes and reorganizes his kingdom. He builds good frontiers. He controls the frontiers that he has to his north. And then he sets his sights on unifying the Greeks. He does come in, and in a military battle in 338, he does defeat most of the Greek powers and takes over most of Greece. Now that he has this control over the Greeks, military control, he has now tried to think about a way in which to unite them. And one way to do that is to remember, revive the idea that Persia is the power that we have to worry about. Now, the Persian Empire after the Persian Wars had not gone away. It's still there. It's lurking on the horizon. One thing that's going to help unify the Greeks is for Philip and his son Alexander to use this idea of the Greek monster just on the frontier. They're going to come and get us again. They're going to come and get us again. And we have to be prepared for that. And so that kind of motivational factor is going to get involved in having Philip with his people here in the northern part of Macedonia involving themselves in taking over all the Greek city-states militarily. And now, by 338 BCE, Philip has accomplished that. He has now got his empire organized, and he has defeated and unified most of the Greeks, with the idea now that he wants to launch them into the next campaign, which will be for him to take the united Greeks together and move into the Persian Empire. to go and get the Persians, whether it's out of a sense of revenge or out of a sense of adventure. That is still ideas to come. Make sure when you review this in your textbook that you take a closer look at the maps and some of the other materials regarding the Macedonian takeover of Greece. Also, be sure to take a look at all those sample questions.